Okay, so a new video started. I'm gonna continue talking. So I mean, I could tell y'all like some more stories, and it's like, well, yesterday, well, I had it on film where the fake manager. Well, I mean, if she had on a different color shirt, I wouldn't have suspected that she was in on it or a perp. But you know, she's so I figured that her wearing a red shirt. I figured that she was part of the conspiracy and part of the setup. I figured she was part of it since they were all prepared and she wearing a purple with the red shirt. But if he was the one wearing the red shirt and she was wearing a gray shirt, then I would have suspected that. I mean, I wouldn't have suspected that she was in on it. But it was like a whole like staged, scenario to try to set me up to be banned so I can never come back. And I'm like, why would you do this to me? If you never did this to me before, and also if you didn't try to do other customers, like why choose me to pick on? Why are you singling me out? Why did you do this to me? And I didn't get really an apology or a complimentary meal or none or an offer for a complimentary meal after the hell he put me through, or none of that. And if she how am I supposed to take her word for just saying, oh, we're gonna reprimand him? She said she's gonna reprimand him. I was trying to tell you the truth and all the dirty, fucked up shit he was doing, and you were trying to be like, well, like when I tried to tell her about the dirty dollar that he gave me, she's like, oh, I don't think it was intentional. Oh no, he did it on purpose, and she didn't want to. She wasn't trying to hear it, or she didn't believe me when I was trying to tell her that he took the dirty dollar and deliberately threw it at me because he didn't want to give me my change back. But I mean, I can't fight anyway. I mean, I can't whip anybody's ass really because of the 2 strokes I had when I was 5. So I would have lost that. I would have lost that fight anyway if we would have if it would have got physical. But me and him got into a heated argument, and if you're and just because you're a worker, they would take the worker side over the customer side, or especially the manager. People think that the manager wouldn't, like at O'Reilly's, the owner was not going to take my word over Heidi's. And she's probably bending over for him, taking it. If you get what I mean. She's probably whoring for a lot of damn money. So they're going to keep her there. I'm saying probably. I'm not trying to slander nobody or make false accusations, but I'm saying probably. But they all wear high skirts, and like that's their uniform to wear high skirts at O'Reilly's. It's like a Pensacola's local version of Hooters with no skates, but they wear the Hooters. They wear the high shorts or whatever, But them dressing like that, I bet you they probably get more tips from men. They probably get more tips from men. But those same men refuse to help the poor and homeless. So the time last year, I bought probably 2 tacos at Cactus Cantina, and it was right around the time I was working at Seville Quarter and going to the YMCA. And I think I bought 2 tacos, and I paid $1 plus the rest of the money in coins. And then it was someone, I think she was a white female, and she told me her name was Christina. And It was her first day, or she was new or something. No, it was another one. A Hispanic girl named Christina. And then she overcharged me a couple of dollars extra on my debit card. It was different from the price on, and it was like, I think I ordered something like $6 or $7, and then she charged me like almost $10. And so the manager didn't even compensate me really. And the manager tried to falsely accuse me of lying and stuff, even though I showed the proof. And so then another time, it was a white girl when I gave like $1 in change plus the rest in coins, because I was struggling. I think that was before I got my first paycheck. And I was showering at the YMCA, and maybe it might have been just before I started working at Seville Quarter. I don't remember, but I just remember it was between May and June of last year. Probably May, before I started working at the YMCA. I mean the Seville Quarter. So I was trying to get my job back at the YMCA, but I'll never try to work there again, and I don't think I'll ever try to get a membership there again, or ever try to go there again, ever. So I think, what they did was staged, fucked up, and unfair. How could the YMCA, that's supposed to be a Christian organization, but come to find out secretly they're Masonic? How could a so-called Christian organization get away with a man putting secret hidden cameras in a women's bathroom and to watch everything you're doing? How else would a man know that I would be hand wash my clothes and then use the dryer to dry my clothes? And then they would mob me and harass me and try to bully me out of there. And I had a membership. And so the black female, Sarah, that's her name, Sarah K. Davis, they were trying to push her to perp me. And she was like the executive director. And she was kind of complying with what they were doing. But then they wanted to say Sarah had to leave because she wasn't doing her job and this and that, whatever. And I'm wondering, am I that important or powerful that this lady ended up losing her executive director position behind me because she refused to, maybe she didn't want to continue to perp me? I'm like, this is bogus, because even Alex Dupree was heavily harassing me at that time too. So back to Cactus Cantina. When it was a white female who was also new, and she set me up, and I paid her in cash, and she lied on me and said that I walked out paying nothing, that I walked out for free and paid nothing. Walked out and didn't pay anything. And so then the fake manager tried to tell me you're not, and she tried to argue me that I did. And then it's like, well, I had proof of that I paid and stuff like that. And so, and she wasn't trying to hear or see none of that. So she tried to tell me you're not welcome to come back here, you're banned, this, that, whatever. And I'd be all day telling other instances and problems that I had at Cactus Cantina. So I'm just not, and the one on North 12th Avenue, I never been to that location. So I don't know what it's like to go. I never been to that location, but I always been to the one downtown. So then I figured out that it was a couple of months later, I heard that right after the lady decided that I'm banned and that I'm not, and the lady straight up told me, and there was another lady was used to relay the message that I'm banned and not welcome, that you're no longer welcome here, behind a lie in a setup. And I wasn't allowed to explain myself or defend myself. So then a few months later, I asked, and then they said, well, she moved to such and such place, Alabama. I forgot the name of the city. And I'm like, wait a minute. So she fired and banned me. I'm sorry, not fired. I never worked there. I meant to say, so she banned me from working. Why am I saying working? She banned me from coming there and then decide that I'm banned forever and then move. She not even working there no more? Like, Hellface Ugly McUgly, Michaela, um, after I exposed her being part of the gang stalking setup at Bodacious, I got all that on film when I got sick and tired of the perp stalking me. And Michaela decided to, well, I'm going to call the police. Well, the police must have arrived after I left. And Heidi was trying to bully me and call the police on me too. Because see, at first I would have just my backpack, not my sleeping bag, but just my backpack. And Heidi used to love me. Heidi used to respect me at O'Reilly's. And then the day she saw the sleeping bag was when she bullied me and picked an argument with me and lied on me for an excuse to justify having me banned forever. Well, I don't know if I'm banned forever, but I tried to talk to the manager the owner a few months ago, and he's like, he listened to me tell my side of the story, but he said he wasn't sure. He's like, oh, well, let's just keep the ban for now, and I'm aware of the situation. I'm just going to get Heidi's side of the story. Well, if Heidi lied on me to my face, it would make you think she's going to tell the truth to you. And especially if she's mad because I put her ass on film and put her all out on YouTube. I'm pretty sure she's aware, because the gang stalkers, online perps calling up the place of business, telling them, oh, look, Candy Grandpre, she's schizophrenic and she's a homeless schizophrenic woman. She did these YouTube videos about you saying you're gang stalking her or whatever. So, yeah. So, what I went through at Cactus Cantina has nothing to do with the narcissistic, psychopathic, satanic gang stalkers who act like they think they own me because they're sex traffickers and they delusionally believe that they're pimps. And they're profiting and making money off of destroying me. They're the ones using me as their meal ticket. Why don't I have a right to speak out against that? Excuse me. All I'm trying to do is freaking live day to day and survive. This is not fair at all. And I have a right to speak out against this, what I'm going through, and my traumas and targeting and triggers. Cactus Cantina was the place where they had the obese, narcissistic gang stalker who acted like he wanted to give me limited portion size on water and give me a half a cup of water. And of course, you're going to act like you're not expected to get cussed out for doing that to me? Narcissistic abuse and reactive abuse? Darvo? I'm just sick and tired of it. I knew I was innocent. I was innocent. As I said, last night didn't have to happen. And I've had weird stuff at Texas Roadhouse Grill too, when a young female tried to do that to me. Like when I tried to order, it probably was the chicken that day, like herb crusted chicken, and then the two sides. And she asked me, well, with the what was it? And you get all those dinner rolls and stuff. So she asked me if I wanted she asked me, do you want such and such on your but she didn't warn me in advance and say, well, this is the loaded potato and it will be an upcharge of 99 cents. She didn't warn me and tell me in advance. She was just like, do you want this? You want this? I'm like, yeah. And then she secretly, charging me. And I'm like, but wait a minute. You didn't warn me in advance and say, well, or you didn't even be like, well, would you like would you like loaded potatoes loaded sweet potato and this and that for 99 cents extra? I would have said no. I would have declined it. But, I didn't even realize that was extra or whatever. Or was it 99 cents or $2? I don't remember. So me and her got into an argument with that, and she was very disrespectful. Young enough to be my daughter. And And so she said that the manager or somebody canceled it and said, well, next time we're going to charge. No, you need to let customers know, like, well, would you like such and such at 75 cents extra? Don't be trying to be secretly overcharging people extra stuff. Let them know. Be like, would you like an extra, like last night he should have said, would you like some extra queso on the side for 75 cents? No, he didn't do that. He just said, do you want red sauce or cheese? And so he threw me off. So he did that deliberately, you know, and trying to trigger me to lash out. Trigger and provoke me to lash. That's not fair. For nothing. That could have been avoided. You didn't have to do this to me. And then I've even dealt with at Texas Roadhouse Grill when they would do stuff like act extra stingy. Like if I order the ribs, they would act extremely stingy and put barely any sauce on the ribs. Or they would do stuff like put a man's name on a man's name tag on a female and playing games like that. You know, so I mean, and then when I told the fake manager with the red shirt yesterday, I think she said her name was AK or something. I don't remember what she said her name was. And when I told her about, and she kept on rushing me when I wasn't done telling my story and telling the story about what happened and trying to get in every detail to tell her everything that happened. That's another reason how I knew she was in on it. And so then she kept rushing me and I'm like, wait a minute, but I'm not finished telling what happened. And so she tried to make it like he had a right to do that to me with the queso, trying to say it's his job. It ain't your job to deceive and scam and try to overcharge and cheat people. And one time, a while back, it was 2019 or 2020 when I ordered something cheaper at Cactus Cantina, and plus I ordered the drink. And I had a lot of coins, you know, and they had a guy who tried to trick and scam me to demand a tip. And he tried to not give me cranberry juice. And he tried to keep the $3 extra for himself. And I fought for my right to get some cranberry juice. And he's like, no, this money is going towards my tip and stuff. And me and him had a big showdown, you know, with that. And then the manager lied and said that he was going to compensate me. I think his name was Juan Paredes. He's actually Mexican. And Juan, he's a narcissist, a mean narcissistic abuser who every time I see him, he would have his face twisted up mad. And I haven't seen him in a long time. That Juan guy, I heard he's still like the manager over all the locations of Cactus Cantina. So Juan just sat there and let the guy do what he did and let the guy keep his job. And then Juan, he gave me vicious, cruel, mean looks the next day when I saw him and passed by Cactus Cantina. And he was setting up outside and he gave me like vicious, mean, cruel looks like he hated my guts. And one time I came in there and tried to get me like some beans or something to eat. And I was down on my luck. And Juan, he falsely accused me of being a terrorist because I had my green supplement, in which I had some this morning, and I even had some last night. And so he's like, oh, you can't bring outside food or drinks or whatever. I said, wait a minute. This is my supplement. And this is not an outside, I mean, it was just water and I added it. I mean, I added the powder, the amazing grass. I added the powder I added the powder to my water like I usually do. And so he falsely accused me of being a terrorist and trying to make it like, oh, you bringing outside drinks and this, that, whatever. That was my first encounter with him. And then I was a customer paying. He wouldn't even let me use the bathroom. So it's just weird. And then I'm in narcissistic abusers being like, and you always talking about how people treat you. Look what you do to people. Me cussing, I don't even remember, but maybe I did cuss him out and I just didn't remember. But I'll say I don't have much of any memory of, everything happened so fast. But he gave me a dirty dollar. He threw he angrily threw, he threw a dirty dollar he threw it on a table. And then the manager was saying, oh, I don't think he gave you a dirty dollar on purpose. He didn't want to give me that back, the 50 cents. So I'm letting y'all know the whole scenario, the whole setup and what happened. And she tried to pretend like she was oblivious or like she didn't know, but she was in on it. She was part of the plan. So just this random out of nowhere setup for an excuse to justify not allowing me to come back or making like, you're not welcome, sayonara. And as I said, what the tranny did at Cottage Cafe right across the street, that was a setup because he was mad because he narcissistically demanded a tip. And, got very vicious. And then my twin sister sided with and defended him. And also falsely agreed that Candy is the problem. When I told y'all she's a perp too. So you gang stalkers won't let me rest. I'm not going to shut up with exposing y'all. And I'm not going to let y'all rest. So it took me nearly an hour and 2 parts of a video for me to explain in detail what happened last night and plus certain other scenarios of other restaurant activities, with the gang stalking and psychological games and manipulation and stuff like that. I had the gang stalking set up at Denny's where, I explained to y'all what the old lady named Crystal, what she did to me. So they try to manipulate you to never want to come back, or they set you up and lie on you, make these bogus setups and lie on you for an excuse to justify having you banned for the rest of your life. And that's the same with workplace mobbing and a job. If they'll harass you and fuck with you to the point where you cornered and got no choice but to quit, or they will make up a lie on you. Like, say, for example, if I'm a cashier and I'm a targeted individual, they will lie. Say, for example, if they will, and this, when I was working at the zoo, they kept on lying and saying, well, they try to make it like as if I'm dumb and can't count. And even when I was doing a temp service job at Juma Ventures, I don't think maybe it was temp service. It was a part-time minimum wage job in New Orleans. And I would go around selling drinks like soda for basketball games. And they would be like, well, always tell me, Candy, you're $12 short in your drawer. And then I start to panic. I'm like, wait a minute, I know everything was, like, they tell me the next day. And then come to find out, a perp employee secretly hid $12 under the bottom of the cashier drawer. And they found it. And they're like, oh, and then somebody secretly set aside to play a mind game on me. And this was before I realized about gang stalking and workplace mobbing being part of what I'm going through. And they workplace mobbed me at the zoo. They did the same thing, lying and saying, "Oh, you're $12 short." It's always you $12 short. Why not 5, 10? It's always 12. And more than one job, oh, $12 short. And then like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, well, here's $12 underneath the drawer that somebody secretly hid." And trying to make it like either I can't count, or they try to falsely accuse, make it like they want to try to falsely accuse me of stealing. And then kind of find out there's this secret stash of $12 that they hid under, trying to play all kinds of psych games. And so when you freaking had enough, and all the provoking and triggering, and you're supposed to be able to keep your cool the whole time and stay normal. And then when you lash out, you're the one with the bad behavior, the inappropriate, unacceptable behavior. Well, y'all narcissistic gang stalking setups and lying on people and playing psych games, bullying, harassing, and laughing at people. And I'm supposed to just be defenseless and do nothing and just take it, tolerate it. So, and then can't even go to other professed targeted individuals for support because they want me to shut up and ignore and suck it up and take it. And then call me weak. And then they make like brick wall me like they don't want to hear what I gotta say. But then they'll smile in a perp's face and defending my perps against me. And you're supposed to be targeted. But you don't want to hear nothing I gotta say, but you'll listen to a perp lie on me all day. Okay. And then when I feel betrayed and do a follow-up video and calling you a fake TI perp, then all of a sudden you got your smear campaign and then get everybody to hate me. So I'm going through it right now. So I had an all around rough fucking week. Rough week. So far this morning I had a good morning. Wasn't perfect, but good morning. But since Sunday, it's already Thursday. I don't know what's going to happen later on tonight, but I know where I'm not going to this evening. Cactus Cantina.